What's going on, my PT peeps and my Walking Dead family? Welcome to the PT channel. I'm One Eye Bry, back to talk about The Walking Dead and the day The Walking Dead died. Obviously, spoiler warning if you're not up to date of the series, so I don't want to ruin anything for you because we're going to talk about the series from season 1, episode 1 up to a certain point. So I don't want to ruin anything for you if you're not up to date on the show. But The Walking Dead has died in a lot of people's eyes. Not in my eyes. I love The Walking Dead and I'm going to watch it to the very, very end. Like I said, I love The Walking Dead and my Walking Dead family, and hopefully you'll become a valued member of the PT channel and our Walking Dead family by hitting that subscribe button. Photo credit, obviously, to AMC and The Walking Dead as we're using pictures from the show. Well, The Walking Dead star is Rick Grimes. The story is about Rick Grimes, and we're following this man as he travels along a zombie apocalypse. Remember those days when Rick Grimes was looking for his family? His son, his wife, maybe even his best friend. He didn't know who was alive. And it was great. It was great right off the bat. The Walking Dead is bigger than one character, the writers say. It's not about Rick Grimes, it's about the zombie apocalypse. But Rick Grimes is the main character, no doubt about that. And the Grimes family was the story. Rick trying to find his family and then keep his family safe. And we could definitely buy into that. Rick gets shot, goes into a coma, survives the coma, makes it back to his house, meets Morgan, meets Dwayne, gets on the horse and rides into Atlanta where he meets Glenn and a small group of survivors. And yes, the show wasn't perfect. Zombies were picking up teddy bears and bricks and turning doorknobs. And really that was okay, because zombies could have a little ability to pick up things and do things. But ultimately the show was a survival show. It was a survival zombie apocalypse horror show, and it was great. I love the survival aspects of it. They survived the CDC, then they got stuck on the highway, they made it to Herschel's farm, and on to a new setting. The story was progressing, and for a while there, season 2 for me was a little slow, especially with the Sophia thing where they were looking for her and they finally found her and she was in the barn, but it was okay. I liked where they were going with the story. The Shane-Rick dynamic was awesome. The cast was not too big, but not too small at the same time. We got some new characters. Again, the show had some ridiculous points. The shotgun by Herschel had unlimited ammo and he was firing and firing and firing. And a fun fact, Herschel was supposed to die there, but the writers changed it to keep him alive for the prison storyline, which I'm glad they did. And the conclusion of the Sophia storyline was pretty sad, and it was a very big moment of the story. She was in the barn the whole time, and she died. Carl would not stay in the house. Carl was kind of annoying early on, but we kind of grew to like the character. More and more seasons passed, and Carl did bigger and better things. The Shane vs. Rick dynamic was awesome. Were you team Shane? Were you team Rick? Who won the fight? Was Shane a villain? Was he just trying to keep everyone safe? Did he go over the deep end? Then we get to the prison, and the story's going further and further. The story was great because the prison was a great safe place. They were there, they were secure, and they had some problems, but it was captivating. And we were getting more and more drawn in. We started to like characters, we started to hate characters, we started to feel for these people. We wanted to see what happened more and more and more. Andrea was terrible. She was with the governor and she should have killed the governor, but she didn't. And I don't know about you, but I was okay with Andrea being killed off and Lori, two characters that weren't so great. The governor storyline went away, but came back, and we had some problems at the prison again, but we were all in. And I was super excited to see what happens next and who was going to make it, who was going to get killed off. Then we lost Herschel and a couple other characters, but the show kept getting better and better and better. And even when Rick wasn't in the episode, I was still interested. Daryl, Beth, Maggie, Glenn, Bob, Sasha, everyone being apart, then everyone coming back together. And the group was apart, but coming back together is what we wanted to see. The Terminus storyline was very short-lived. The build-up was there. Did it live up to the hype? Possibly, but the season 5 premiere was one of the best episodes and definitely the best premiere of the series so far. And the show was still about being a survival show. They were on the road. What were they going to do next? They were at a prison. They lost the prison. Terminus turned out to be terrible. And what were they going to do next? We so wanted to know. Season 5 into season 6, the show was getting better and better. Alexandria was a whole different dynamic, and really where the show is as of season 9. But Alexandria was pretty cool. We had the Alexandrians and Rick's group and where they were at, and they were butting heads, and there was a lot of tension, but we wanted to see what was going to happen. Is Alexandria for real? Should Rick take it over? And Rick ultimately took Alexandria over with Deanna and the Monroes and everybody working together. And I love season 6. I think season 6 is one of my favorite seasons, probably my favorite. But they started messing with us too much in that season. the Glenn dumpster thing. We had to wonder if he was going to be alive or not. They introduced the Saviors, but they got rid of the Saviors right away, but only to bring them back again. The Saviors to me are the worst part of the series and have changed the dynamic of the show in a very bad way. But episode 609 is my favorite episode so far and will probably be my favorite episode of the series. Season 6 had a lot going for it, and we learned about a whole new group and a whole new area. Jesus came around, Hilltop came around, Saviors came around, we lost some people, we gained some people. Hilltop definitely changed the dynamic of the show too, but I think in a good way. Gregory was terrible, but we need some terrible characters along the way. Jesus didn't live up to the hype of the comic book, but he's okay, especially early on in Season 6. As of Season 7 and 8 and 9 so far, he's been pretty lackluster. But the Savior Outpost is a major turning point of the series. It was action-packed and pretty awesome, and Rick handled the Saviors pretty easily. And that's what I want to see. I want to see Rick take out the Saviors. Paula and the small group of Saviors were there, and they tried to take down Carol and Maggie, but obviously that didn't work as Carol and Maggie got away, and that's what I wanted to see. Dwight coming back around with the Saviors and causing more problems is a major thing as well, and the interactions and problems between Dwight and Daryl have really changed the dynamic of the show. As before, Daryl and Rick could do anything together, and then when the Saviors came around, Daryl and Rick were pretty powerless, and I didn't want to watch that. That was terrible to watch. I mean, the group of survivors, Daryl, Carol, Rick, Michonne, Rosita, Abraham, Glenn, all these people working together could do anything. And then this other group comes around and just takes over. I don't want to watch that. I want to watch Rick and Daryl and Carol and Maggie and everybody fighting to survive and ultimately Rick winning. I mean, look at Rick's face there. Are we used to seeing this? No. Rick took out the governor. He even took out Shane. He should be able to take these fools out, but he didn't. And he's been pretty powerless against the Saviors really the entire series since the Saviors have been introduced. The season 6 finale is really the major step for when The Walking Dead was starting to die in a lot of people's eyes. When Daryl got shot, when the RV was blocked several times, the lineup. Really, when you saw this, you're like, all right, Rick's in trouble, the group's in trouble, there's a million Saviors here, and Rick is starting to be pretty powerless in this situation. But ultimately, I thought Rick could get out of it, because he's Rick Grimes. He's been in terrible situations before, with Shane, the governor, Joe, Terminus, and he survived them all. But why would I be afraid of some Saviors and some guy in a leather jacket monologuing with a baseball bat? But the writers and Kirkman have given Negan and the Saviors so much power. Too much power, and it was frustrating to watch. It was frustrating to wait who Negan picked. And they go through the lineup. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. This one, that one. Nope, not yet. Nope, still nope. Look at the trees. Here it is. Wait, Negan's gonna raise his bat, and then who's he gonna pick? And then, nothing. We don't know. We had to wait all summer to find out who was gonna be killed off in the season 7 premiere. And that pissed a lot of people off. But a lot of people watched because they wanted to know who was going to die. And we didn't lose one, we lost two beloved characters. Abraham and Glenn both got killed off. Abraham fans were pissed, Glenn fans were pissed, and the cliffhanger rubbed people the wrong way. And I mean, this is The Walking Dead. We're going to lose people, obviously. We lost tons of people prior to season 7, but it was just different. Also, the fact that we lost two beloved characters when we probably should have lost one in a lot of people's eyes. Should have been Abraham, should have been Glenn. That's debatable. But either way, Glenn and Abraham being killed off killed the show for a lot of people. And The Walking Dead is a comic book first and foremost, with the show secondary. Robert Kirkman's baby is the comic book. And the comic book writing and storyline is much better in a comic book form than on television sometimes. All Out War was boring for a lot of people. It was all out bore. Plus we lost Carl. So it's turned into one big cluster F. But ultimately, Carl being killed off, Glenn being killed off, Sasha being killed off, Abraham being killed off in such a short time frame is tough for the show to recover from. Negan is responsible for all this. He killed Abraham and he killed Glenn. He's partly responsible for killing Sasha, and I think the writers chose Negan over keeping Carl has really hurt the show, because how can Carl go from wanting to kill Negan to wanting to save Negan and have everyone live together in this harmonious world? Just doesn't make sense, but that's Rick's vision for the future because that's what Carl wanted. Yeah, I'm going to buy into that. But to me, The Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 1 that aired on October 23rd, 2016, titled The Day Will Come When You Won't Be, is when The Walking Dead died in a lot of people's eyes. A lot of people have stopped watching now. A lot of people have stopped watching since Season 7, Season 8, into Season 9. And you can just look at the total views, how many millions of people are watching the show versus prior seasons. But I'm going to watch the very, very end. But I firmly believe that Negan and the Saviors have ruined The Walking Dead. The balance of power, Negan versus Rick, keeping Negan alive, and how can Negan and Maggie and Daryl and Rick coexist in a storyline? Do you agree? Do you think Negan and the Saviors have ruined the series? Or is it something else? But I'm going to watch to the very end, and I love The Walking Dead. Let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. Like, share, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button to become a valued member of the PT channel and our Walking Dead family. And remember, guys, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it.